Hello again, a very warm welcome to you all. My name is Deni Kay and I'm here today with a bottle of Glenfiddich Snow Phoenix. I think I can confidently say that most whiskey enthusiasts would be absolutely familiar with this expression along with the story that it comes with. So I'll only very quickly recap the actual story before I get into the whiskey itself. Now back in January 2010, due to some very heavy snowfall, some of the warehouses experienced a little bit of an issue where the snow sitting on the roofs caused the roofs to collapse, which meant that the actual whiskey casks that were stored in those warehouses sat in below 0 degrees temperature, apparently up to minus 19 degrees, before the casks could be salvaged. Now, a few things happened in between there. One of them was a photograph that was captured, which is on the actual presentation tin there. Looked like a phoenix, hence the name Snow Phoenix. Brian Kinsman, the master distiller, decided to mark the occasion by releasing a whiskey using the casks that were in the warehouses there, which were Oloroso sherry casks along with some American oak ex-bourbon casks. Now, it's a non-age statement, however, the contents are roughly about 12 to 13 through to 30 years of age, bottled at 40, 7.6%, non-chill filtered and natural colouring. A very lovely story, lovely presentation. So obviously the traditional bottle shape that we are all used to from Glenfiddich. However, obviously a black bottle and a lovely presentation tin here as well. So as I said, picture on the front, lovely story on the back, along with a little booklet inside as well, and then a cutout for the bottle to sit in. Now, this bottle that I have here is an empty bottle because I did not have very much left in it. So what I did was, I think that it had hit a sweet spot. Didn't want it to oxidize any further or change. So what I've done was I've quite simply just decanted it in a smaller bottle. And I have actually had this bottle open for a couple of years now, but because I've been able to put it into a smaller bottle, it has kept very, very nicely indeed. So I would absolutely recommend that when you do find that you have a bottle that you are enjoying, or would quite simply just like to keep for a little bit longer because you don't think that you are going to finish it in the immediate future, you can absolutely just decant it into a smaller bottle. That's one of many options anyway, just to keep more air from getting to it. Now, the colour, as I said, natural colouring. It is a very bright straw. It's a gold colour. The nose is a lovely nose. It is fruity, and the fruits are pears and apples. Now, the apples are both red and green apples. The pears are green apples, and also really juicy, nashy pears as well. Some stewed pears. I'd say stewed pears with some cinnamon over the top because there's some spice there. And toffee apples. And I'm not talking about apples dipped in toffee. There is a confectionery, a lolly that I remember from my childhood, which is essentially just like a strip of candy, and it is red and green, and it's called Toffee Apple. And that absolutely takes me back, and it's done that from the very first time that I experienced this. You've got the sherry notes that are coming through, some dried fruits that are coming through there, along with also a very creamy, lovely creamy vanilla, some toffee, and a little bit of spice. I mentioned cinnamon earlier. There's also a touch of pepper on the nose as well. So it's quite a little bit going on, but it is still a very delicate nose, is the way that I would describe it. It is a very classy malt. Absolutely fantastically put together. I mentioned the word delicate, and whilst there is so much going on, it is so flavorful, I would absolutely still say that it is a delicate whiskey. Fantastic. Now, immediately I'm getting the toffee apple that I mentioned earlier. Very, very creamy vanilla bean ice cream there, and spice. The spice is not the cinnamon that I mentioned on the nose, but it's some black pepper, white pepper, a touch of clove, and also a little bit of ginger as well. The pears are still present. The apples are still present. Now, in terms of dried fruits, yes, absolutely there as well. There's a lot of fruit that's there. The spice that I mentioned is present beginning through to the finish. Now there's also a little bit of some dry oak present on the finish, and it is a long, lingering finish. Lovely length on this. It is a very, very lovely whiskey. I will say that it's grown on me because when I first opened it, the pepper and the spice were, I think, coming through a little bit stronger, but with some time it is absolutely settled. I think that it is at a point now where it has hit its sweet spot. Unfortunately, it is not available for the $100 that it was on release many years ago. So because of the story, because of the quality of the whiskey, the price has absolutely jumped up. So I think most people that are chasing this now are probably chasing it from a collector's perspective, but I will say it's absolutely worth pursuing a bottle to open, try and enjoy, because it is absolutely very enjoyable. I would rate this an 8.5 out of 10. I think if you were to consider the story and everything with it, you could probably bump it up to a 9 if those things were important to you. But I've given this an 8.5 out of 10 because I think it is an absolutely fantastic whiskey, and I've really enjoyed it beginning to end, and I will be able to continue to enjoy it because, as I said, I've put it in a smaller bottle and I can pour myself a dram every now and again, share it with some friends when I'd like to. I will leave it at that. I appreciate it very much, the time that you've taken to watch. Hope you've enjoyed it. Cheers to you. Till next time.